What a surprise. A movie that looked bad, that seemed like a bad idea, and everyone thought was going to be bad, is in fact bad. With Hollywood production coming to a halt, we are all desperate for entertainment. So many of us are turning to streaming services, binge watching shows, rewatching some of our favorites, or just looking for original content that isn't Tiger King. And some of us, like me, if you hate yourself, are watching the few films that did get a theatrical release in 2020, and it looks like I may just be able to review every single movie released in theaters this year. What an accomplishment for me, huh? So that brings us to Sonic the Hedgehog, which is yet another attempt at a video game movie. Now, I don't need to say this, everybody knows it. There hasn't been very many good adaptations of a video game. So, yeah. I didn't have high hopes for Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'm going to admit that, you know what, that was justified. This movie's not very good. Sonic the Hedgehog is a movie that just kind of exists as something to put in front of the kids to hold their attention for almost 2 hours. Otherwise, it's nothing special. It's not good. It's passable, but that's not really an accomplishment because, quite frankly, most of the discourse surrounding this movie is about the design of Sonic and how supposedly redesigning the character is what saved the movie, and that listening to the fans is what allowed the movie to gross $65 million at the box office. I don't necessarily agree with this, and I think it's also a dangerous precedent to set, and I think that we're going to really blur the line of fandom and artistic integrity, and I don't think that's a good thing if we continue down this path. So I just want to pump the brakes on that and say that I don't think Sonic the Hedgehog was as successful as it is because they redesigned the character. I do agree that the redesign looks better, but that doesn't make the movie good. It doesn't magically fix everything. This movie is still poorly written, the dialogue is terrible, it's cringeworthy, the acting is wooden, and quite frankly, cringeworthy, and nothing about this movie is special. The narrative is so generic and cookie cutter. I admit there was a little bit of creativity with incorporating Sonic's world, but you know, it certainly was not enough to make me like the movie. James Marsden, I will say though, that guy is underrated. He is probably the most underrated B-list lead in Hollywood. He's a very charming guy, but he could not save this movie because the script did him no favors. And I gotta say, I don't know if this is what he was going for, but I gotta say, James Marsden did a very, very good Mark Wahlberg impression. I kind of feel like that's what he was going for. I don't know. If it's not, then I'm just very wrong. But if it is, then he did a very good job. But James Marsden, very underappreciated. I thought he was good in this. He was the only thing enjoyable about this. I thought Ben Schwartz, as the voice of Sonic, was okay. He wasn't anything great. Certainly wasn't a standout to me. I didn't really like Sonic as a character. I didn't really care about him. There was nothing to him. This movie has no nuance. There's no pathos. Like, I didn't care about a single thing. I didn't care about any of these characters except for James Marsden's character, and that's only because he was played by James Marsden. So that's not a ringing endorsement. I only like James Marsden because he was in Enchanted, which is a very underrated Disney movie that you should totally watch. So Sonic is just another cookie-cutter video game movie. It, for some reason, involves a road trip, and it tries to do the thing with the buddy cop thing. I don't know why these video game movies try to make the video game character either a detective or the friend of a detective. You know, it's just a very strange direction to take these things, and it doesn't necessarily always pay off, so I think they probably need to find a new way to approach video game movies. We know that direct adaptations don't work, but there's got to be, come on, somebody's got to be creative out there. So, Sonic the Hedgehog, not very good. I'm going to say pass. I don't recommend this movie. if you are looking for something to throw on for the kids to watch for roughly 2 hours, give them Detective Pikachu. Because you know what? That's a much better movie than this. And you know what? I actually liked Detective Pikachu, so there's no accounting for taste here. So if you want to take my opinion with a grain of salt, that's fine. But I can't really recommend Sonic the Hedgehog to you, because really the only thing that stood out about it was James Marsden and Jim Carrey hamming it up. Jim Carrey hammed it up, but I feel like he didn't ham it up enough, so I didn't even really enjoy that much. So this movie was pretty disappointing, so I cannot, in good faith, recommend Sonic the Hedgehog. If you want to show your kids a video game movie, let them watch Detective Pikachu. It's better. But, that being said, if you would like to tell me how wrong I am, comment below. That's what that section is for. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I will see you next time, and may your heart be your guiding key.